How are you doing, friends? Welcome again to our channel. We haven't been doing anything on the channel in a long time. It's been slow moving and growing to the point of monetization, which can be discouraging, but not really, considering that we want our message to get out to everybody. But this is our problem. Like most of you, especially the ones who do a lot of creating for YouTube, you probably watch a lot of YouTube. I have for maybe the last year. Most of the time I spend my evenings watching and checking out informative videos, but now I'm sort of finding that some of them are kind of full of crap. They're not creating anything. They're taking pictures of famous people. They're putting the famous person's picture on their video and saying, well, this is what Cornel West said. And then they barely have him in the video as they ramble on with their own points of view and opinions. Although this may be interesting to many people because a lot of them have thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. To me, it just looks like the regular news media where you have someone always trying to tell you what the other person said or what the person said instead of just letting you hear it for yourself and make your own decisions. To me, this is disempowering, and that is a problem here today when we need to be empowered to think for ourselves and to know who and what we are, to know about our environment, to know that the type of person we are does not necessarily depend on how much we have or where we live, but on the content of our hearts and our characters. That, I think, defines a human being. And when I mean the content of our character, I'm not talking about even forcing ourselves to live a certain way because we're told that it's right or wrong. I'm talking about beginning to understand within one's heart that we are all connected. We are all one. And from that sense of being, of realizing who we are, we act. We are free to do whatever we want to, as long as it is aligned with our understanding of the truth. And that understanding of the truth is this: we're beautiful, divine beings who have the power to create or recreate things. Every interaction with other people or other beings create a little ripple that passes through this whole world, saying the wrong thing at a person at the wrong time, when they're growing up or when they're hurt or when they're despondent, can plant a seed in that person that will destroy them and their families from generation to generation, possibly because of what we say. So all that I'm talking about is us learning to take responsibility for that creative power that we have and the creative energy that we are. We've been told we don't have any power unless we can go to the bank and pull out a lot of money, or unless we're driving the latest car, or we have the fan club following us, or we look a certain way. Our tongues have been taken over. We've been taught to say what the media has fed us from the time we're born till now. We take on the attitudes of individuality, thinking that everyone who makes it is superior and the other ones who fail deserve not to have anything in a world full of abundance. We've done this to the point where some people have billions of dollars while others have none. Two people in the United States are supposed to have about the same amount of wealth as the lower half. We don't think this is a problem. Why is this? And so on these channels, we bring to light the fact that a lot of our lives are contrary to the way things are. And a lot of us can't change our thoughts, behaviors, or actions because they're being influenced by invisible psychological manipulation. And it is invisible because it started before we were even able to speak, sitting in front of the television set, watching TV commercials we didn't understand, or TV shows that were showing us acts being done by various people of various races, ethnicities, ages, all different things. This was programming us to understand what world we would be in. And it was showing us who the good people were or who the bad people were. It was showing us the lifestyle we should have. It was normalizing everything on a level so deep that we couldn't even recognize it. And that was going like a program into our brain. So for the rest of our lives, if what we had did not match up to what was going on the screen, we'd feel strange or agitated or even disappointed or depressed, not knowing why. And going outside of ourselves, we would try to replicate what we saw on that TV screen. And that TV screen is basically a fantasy, a dream, the same fantasy that most of us live our lives chasing after. We think that if we can get enough outside of ourselves, we'll be happy. Whether it is money, time, adventure, whatever it is, we think that by going out, we can get rid of all of the discomfort. When in fact, the discomfort comes from very deep subconscious images and understandings of the world and who we are. And if we keep focusing outward, we won't find what we want. There is something called the conformativity phenomenon. That is the conformativity phenomenon that often happens. That is the power we have to adapt to things. It goes this way. If you're making $7 an hour and it's not enough, and you get a job excuse me, I have COVID this week, and you feel terrible about it, and there are a lot of problems you have with it, and you get a job making $10 an hour, your life will change a lot. You'll do different things. You'll feel a lot better. But then something happens over time. Once we get used to making the 10, there is a shift inside where we accept that as normal. And we become dissatisfied with that because there's something inside making us dissatisfied. It's not the outside. So if we go up to $10, if we go up to $100, if we become millionaires and we can fly all over the world, as soon as we get there and we settle in, if we haven't done the inner work, something happens. There's a shift. And we're still not satisfied. Because we're conforming to what's going on in our lives by shifting our psyche to accepting it and exhibiting the same feelings we had before. So gaining a lot of stuff doesn't help. The only way to deal with it is to go deep down and to deal with the problems and the issues causing the suffering. This is difficult. Many people try it through going to many psychologists and psychiatrists for years and years. Some prosper, some don't. Many do it through meditation and contemplation. The main way to do it, however, is through realization. As we realize that we are not who they told us we are, and that they are not who they told us they are. And we work from that premise, meditating, working in the world as divine beings who have already arrived, giving up the right to be frustrated and angry and to give up. Something happens. We grow into the awareness or the knowledge that we hold, and we become, once again, what we were early before entering into this life and this earth. So it's all about two things: realizing who we are is one, and the second is acting and living from that source of being. Om Mani Padme Hum. Let us celebrate the jewel at the center of the lotus blossom and celebrate ourselves and the love that exists in our core. And that's all we have to say today. So thanks for being with us on our channel. Visit us at our website. Make a donation if you would like. Pass this on to followers, subscribe, comment, do what it takes so that we have more chances to be seen. Because of the algorithm, because there are a lot of ignorant, foolish, horrible people all over this channel now with thousands of followers, and everybody looks at them and sees them, and they think that the world is a place of ignorance and stupidity, when that is a vast minority of people. And the truth is, when it comes to the troubles and the pains and suffering in the world, they have all been caused by a group of small, privileged, incompetent clowns, like the ones we have running most Western governments today. Om Mani Padme Hum. Namaste, everyone.